Hi, my name is Kaylee Glynn, and I'm a senior digital forensics and Russian and East European studies double major. I recently learned about weapons of mass destruction in another class and found it to be an interesting topic. The term weapon of mass destruction is used to characterize a variety of weapons that share two key features: their potential for large-scale destruction and the indiscriminate nature of their effects, notably against civilians. There are three main types of weapons of mass destruction: biological, chemical, and nuclear. Biological weapons are complex systems that disseminate disease-causing organisms or toxins to harm or kill humans, animals, or plants. They generally consist of two parts: a weaponized agent and delivery mechanism. Biological weapon delivery systems can take a variety of forms. Past programs have constructed missiles, bombs, hand grenades, and rockets to deliver biological weapons. In addition to concerns that biological weapons could be developed or used by states, recent technological advances increase the likelihood that these weapons could be acquired or produced by non-state actors, including individuals and terrorist organizations. Chemical weapons began with World War I, when both sides of the conflict used poisonous gas to inflict agonizing suffering and to cause significant battlefield casualties. Such weapons basically consisted of well-known commercial chemicals put into standard munitions such as grenades and artillery shells. Since World War I, chemical weapons have caused more than 1 million casualties globally. The Cold War period saw significant development, manufacture, and stockpiling of chemical weapons. By the 1970s and 80s, an estimated 25 states were developing chemical weapons capabilities. But since the end of World War II, chemical weapons have reportedly been used in only a few cases. Nuclear weapons can destroy a whole city, potentially killing millions and jeopardizing the natural environment and lives of future generations through its long-term catastrophic effects. Although nuclear weapons have only been used twice in warfare, in the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945, about 22,000 reportedly remain in our world today, and there have been over 2,000 nuclear tests conducted to date. More than 24 nations have nuclear power. Only 9 possess actual nuclear weapons: Russia, the US, China, India, Israel, France, North Korea, Pakistan, and the UK. The Plowshares Fund, a global security foundation, estimates there are more than 15,000 nuclear weapons around the world, the US and Russia possessing 93% of them. The US and Russia maintain roughly 1,800 of their nuclear weapons on high alert status, ready to be launched within minutes of a warning. This resource provides a list of states possessing, pursuing, or capable of acquiring nuclear, chemical, or biological weapons and missile delivery systems as of 2000. The United States conducted its first nuclear test explosion in July 1945 and dropped 2 atomic bombs on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. Just 4 years later, the Soviet Union conducted its first nuclear test explosion. The United Kingdom, France, and China followed. Seeking to prevent the nuclear weapon ranks from expanding further, the U.S. and other like-minded states negotiated the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, in 1968. The treaty aims to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and weapons technology, to foster the peaceful uses of nuclear energy, and to further their goal of disarmament. India, Israel, and Pakistan never signed the treaty and possessed nuclear arsenals. North Korea announced its withdrawal from the NPT in January 2003 and has tested nuclear devices since that time. Some other treaties include the treaty banning nuclear weapons tests in the atmosphere, in outer space, and underwater, also known as the Partial Test Ban Treaty and the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. The Biological Weapons Convention is the first multilateral disarmament treaty banning the development, production, and stockpiling of an entire category of weapons of mass destruction. The Chemical Weapons Convention is an arms control treaty which outlaws the production, stockpiling, and use of chemical weapons and their precursors. On August 6, 1945, in the final stages of World War II, An American B-29 bomber dropped the world's first deployed atomic bomb over the Japanese city of Hiroshima. The explosion wiped out 90% of the city and immediately killed 70,000 people. Tens of thousands more would later die of radiation exposure. 3 days later, a second B-29 dropped another A bomb on Nagasaki, killing an estimated 40,000 people. There were two main reasons as to why America decided to drop the bombs: to scare the Japanese into surrendering and to impress upon the world the power of the new weapon. This is the only time that nuclear weapons have been used in warfare. In more recent events, the United States and South Korea remain on high alert after receiving reports that North Korea may test fire an intermediate-range ballistic missile when Donald Trump enters the White House in January. The missile test is said to be a warning that Pyongyang will not give up its nuclear missile development program. U.S. forces and allies in Japan and South Korea are on high alert for a new missile launch after recent satellite imagery showed what appeared to be potential preparations at North Korea's Sohae launch facility. North Korea has carried out two nuclear weapon tests and dozens of missile tests and launches this year in defiance of UN sanctions. Although not all the missile tests have been successful, North Korea has made significant advances in developing nuclear weapons and the technology needed to mount them to long-range missiles. The most recent nuclear test in September showed North Korea is capable of building a weapon equivalent in power to the atomic bomb used at Hiroshima in World War II. A global effort is needed to reduce reliance on nuclear weapons, prevent their spread, and ultimately end them as a threat to the world. It will take leadership, creative approaches, and thoughtful understanding of the perils of inaction. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and thank you for listening.